Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali and here I just talk to myself about books, and then someone, maybe you may or may not watch this at a later date. I have just filmed a unboxing for the month of March, however I do have a separate pile of books that I thought I would do in a little video as like a little book haul. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I have a book that was gifted to me by my brother. He recently visited the Science Museum in London with our cousin and he brought this back for me, and that is The Long View, Why We Need to Transform How the World Sees Time by Richard Fisher. I have no idea what this is. I've never heard of it before, but it's a non-fiction book, and let's read the back, I guess. So, humans can comprehend time like no other species, projecting our minds between past and future. Yet today, we are so often trapped in the present, at the mercy of our short-termist politics, quarterly business targets and 24-hour news cycles, while tomorrow's risks stack up. It needn't be so. Craftsmen once built cathedrals over lifetimes, indigenous cultures embraced intergenerational reciprocity, and writers dreamed of worlds thousands of years hence. Now, as we face unprecedented long-term challenges, how do we capture that far-sighted vision? I am intrigued, so let's give it a go. I don't really know when I'll pick this up. I have to really be in the mood to read non-fiction, but it does sound interesting, and it's not really something, not really the kind of topic I've ever read about, so it would definitely be an expansion of like genre for me. Now, if you've seen one of my previous videos, mainly like the Canada vlog and the Canada reading vlog as well as the Canada book haul, you will know that my partner eventually broke me down and convinced me to read one of the Warhammer 40k books, the Horus Heresy, of the Horus Heresy series. I did end up reading that first book and I actually really enjoyed it, and now I need to know what happens next. So it is a trilogy, and of course I had to order the next 2 volumes. So we have a Galaxy in Flames by Ben Counter, and then we have False Gods by Graham McNeill. So these are all part of the same trilogy. The first book was written by Dan Abnett, so it is a different author for each of the books in a trilogy, but they have collaborated in the past, and my partner reassures me that they read very well. It doesn't like feel too disjointed, so I am very excited to find out what happens. I was a little bit put off initially because it is Warhammer 40k. I think I had quite a few different like preconceived notions about what that might entail. I also am not the biggest fan of sci-fi. However, this is essentially space-based fantasy rather than sci-fi. Like, it's not that I don't like sci-fi, but I have to really like be in the mood for it, and it has to be like really good world building for me to enjoy it. But this is kind of a mixture, so it's a little bit of sci-fi, but it's actually predominantly like a space-based fantasy. It's also just like insanely big of a world. So this is like a trilogy, but I think they're like hundreds and hundreds of books all based on Warhammer 40k, and then there's Warhammer 30k, which is like 10,000 years prior to that. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where it continues, given how the previous book left off. And who knows, maybe if I enjoy this trilogy, I will read a few more within the Horus Heresy. Also, I just love how like tiny these books are. Like, they just give like 90s 80s kind of like mass paperback fantasy book vibes, and I just love it. I love it. Next is the last book I acquired while I was in Canada. My partner actually got this for me as a little gift. It was kind of like something he got me for Christmas, which was like a handwritten token that said he'll buy me a book when we're in Canada. And so I went for this one, which is Last Night in Montreal by Emily St. John Mandel. Now, I've read read Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel and absolutely adored it. It was like one of my favorite books of whatever year I read it in. I think it was 2023, and I really have been wanting to read another book by this author, and I thought this one was perfect because we did visit Montreal while I was in Canada, and now I will always see this and remind myself of the time we spent there. So I thought it was really cool. Also, just the actual plot sounded interesting. So when Lilia Albert was a child, her father father appeared on the doorstep of her mother's house and took her away. Now, haunted by an inability to remember much about her early childhood, Lilia moves restlessly from city to city, abandoning lovers and eluding the private detective who has dedicated a career to following close behind, until she meets Eli, her latest boyfriend. When Lilia goes out for a paper and fails to return to the Brooklyn apartment, he follows her to Montreal, not knowing whether he wants to disappear too or help her find a way home. But what he discovers is a deeper mystery, one that will set past and present spinning towards collision. So Emily St. John Mandel, or at least Sea of Tranquility, was kind of like magical realism, sci-fi type vibes. So I'm intrigued to find out if that's going to have an element of that in this book. But yeah, it just sounds really intriguing, and as I said, it just seemed like the perfect book to get, just to remember the trip in general. Next, I finally succumbed to another book talk favourite, and that is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I can't remember, I think this is called like The Heartless Warrior or something in the US and Canada, but yeah, in the UK edition it's called The Crimson Moth. So I believe what I've known from this is literally just from book talk videos and like Bookstagram videos and booktubes, to be fair. So I believe this follows a witch who during the day is like kind of part of like a socialite system, but in the nighttime she becomes this vigilante called the Crimson Moth, and she ends up having to go undercover, I guess, kind of, with this guy who is chasing her. He's trying to find out who the Crimson Moth is, and he suspects it's her. He's a witch hunter, and she kind of wants to get in on the inside to be able to kind of help the witches, because she is one. So yeah, it's kind of like this, I guess, like hidden enemies, rivals, lovers, I don't know. It's romantasy is all what I know. I've heard mixed things. Like a lot of people seem to really enjoy it, but then I've heard people say that it was like the worst book they read. So I don't know what to think, but I was convinced to get it by the videos I kept seeing, so let's hope that it's good rather than terrible. Next, we got a continuation of a series I have been reading for a while. So I've been waiting for this to come out in paperback for some time, and I finally got it, and that is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. So this is the second in the duology that follows Oak, and I won't tell you what this is about because it will spoiler it, but basically the original trilogy is the Cruel Prince trilogy, which follows Jude and Cardan, and then Oak is Jude's brother, and yeah, this follows his story kind of a number of years after the end of the third book in the Cruel Prince series, and I've really enjoyed the entire series, so I'm very much looking forward to finding out what happens next in this book. Next, we have a book that my friend from work literally said I had to buy, so I did immediately, and that is The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. I have no idea what this is about. I think it's kind of like magical realism with a touch of fantasy, but my friend swore by it, saying that it was like a book that she absolutely adored and like breezed through, and I got intrigued, so I had to get it too, and then hopefully we'll be able to talk about it. But I will quickly read the synopsis. So, on a street in Dublin, a lost bookshop is waiting to be found. For too long, Opaline, Martha and Henry have been the side characters in their own lives, but when a vanishing bookshop casts a spell, these three unsuspecting strangers will discover that their own stories are every bit as extraordinary as the ones they found in the pages of their beloved books. By unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported to a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. I mean, this sounds like the type of thing that I wish to happen to me, so I'm actually really intrigued to read this, and I've heard it's quite like an easy read as well, so hopefully it'll help me break up a few of my other books that are maybe a little bit chunkier and a little bit heavier. Next, we have another book I've been waiting for a while to come out in paperback because I like my books to match, and I've got the first one in paperback, even though it's not a series, but I just like them to match in vibe, and that is The End Crowns All by Bea Fitzgerald. So Bea Fitzgerald wrote Girl Goddess Queen, which is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and this one is a retelling of the Trojan War, but with a sapphic twist, and follows Cassandra and Helen. So very excited to see how that goes. I love the cover, it is stunning, and it's also got sprayed edges which says love caused this war, which is true, it did. But I will read the kind of synopsis because it is a bit of a flip on the original tale. So, love caused this war, at least that's what the stories will say. Cassandra, Princess of Troy, is a doomed prophet. No one believes her warnings that a war is coming and that it will start with the arrival of one girl. Helen fled Sparta in the pursuit of love, but even her beauty and intelligence are no match for the politics of the Trojan court, especially when one member of it seems determined to be rid of her. But when war finally arrives on the shores of Troy, fate brings these women together in a way that even the gods could not have foretold. Together, they will change their destinies or be the ruin of all that they love. Very excited to read this. I love Bea Fitzgerald's writing, and yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I've heard really good things, so love a myth retelling, even if it is kind of very different from the original myth. I don't care. Looking forward to it. Next, another book. I just need to stop listening to people talk about books because I'm so easily persuaded, but my line manager at work was talking about this book, recommended it, and of course I ordered it literally whilst talking to her. And this is a non-fiction piece of work, and it's called Careless People, A Story of Where I Used to Work by Sarah Wynne Williams. So I believe this is actually based on, this is written by a woman who used to work at Facebook, and it's kind of like a tell-all, I guess, behind the scenes story of that company. So I'm very, very intrigued to read about this. I've also heard that, like, I don't know, it's not very well publicized because people don't want it to be publicized, but I don't really know. But it sounds interesting, so I of course wanted to read it. So Sarah Wynne Williams, a young diplomat from New Zealand, pitched for her dream job. She saw Facebook's potential and knew it could change the world for the better. But when she got there and rose to its top ranks, things turned out a little different. From wild schemes cooked up on private jets to risking prison abroad, Careless People exposes both the personal and political fallout when boundless power and a rotten culture take hold. In a gripping and often absurd narrative, Wynne Williams rubs shoulders with world leaders and tech titans, revealing what really goes on amongst the global elite and what the consequences this has for all of us. As you know, I love kind of like, this is not investigative journalism, this is more like a memoir, I guess, of someone who worked in this company, but I do like that sort of vibe and learning a bit about things that I don't really know anything about. So intrigued to read this one for sure. I just dropped the books near my dog's head and he's now side-eyeing me, but this is my little book haul for March on top of like the book unboxing I already filmed. Let me know if you've read any of these down below and what you've thought about them, and also if you have any other recommendations, although I'm very quickly running out of space where to put these books, and also running out of time to like read them all. I never will catch up to like the amount of books I'm buying in terms of how quickly I'm able to read them. But if you enjoyed this video, please do pop a like, and if you want to see more, do subscribe. See you soon.